one of the biggest advantages that I've had and that you guys can have too is just being quick on action. Like I take ideas to action stupidly fast, and they don't all work. But I think if you overbake things too long, you miss out on so many opportunities. So when you get inspired, like maybe it's something on this podcast, maybe another podcast, maybe it's something, you're watching Alex Hormozy videos and you just have that idea. Don't be afraid to go build it. I mean, right before this podcast, like I've been reworking the Genie Rocket site, and like I put up a whole new section of, hey, instead of just start free trial, I'm going to now do schedule a demo page, and I'm going to have this funnel with the next step of being, hey, now you've scheduled a demo, go ahead and jump into a trial. And so instead of me just writing that down, I actually built it and launched it all just this morning.
Welcome to the Spotlight Session. It's a game-changing interview series that showcases award-winning agency owners to share secrets of starting and scaling a marketing business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast episode here at Highlevel. We call them the Spotlight Session. I've got a special guest here today, Brad Parnell. I've heard about his story several weeks back, and our team reached out to him, and we had this whole podcast all set up. And I'm excited because Brad is someone who's been in the digital space for over 15 years. He is an endurance athlete, and he's got a lot of cool things going on. Faith and family are all values that he has. But we want to talk about business. But before we get go any further or get started, Brad, tell us about your story. Who is Brad Parnell? Give us an overview of just kind of a little background there.
Yeah, thanks, Paulson. Happy to jump in here and for having me on the show. So probably like most of you guys, I started as a traditional digital marketing agency. So man, I think going way back right after I got married, I've almost been married for 20 years. So about 20 years ago, I started pursuing graphic design, web design, working at agencies. 2011 started my own agency where we did everything for everyone, had 15 full-time employees, growing fast. And one thing I really got excited about was solving problems, not just from a design perspective, but technology always had a play in it. It's, hey, we can win awards. Like we won national awards, making things look really pretty. But as you guys know, like awards don't move numbers in a bank account all the time. So we were great at making things look pretty, but we kept hearing over and over again, like our clients really wanted results. Like, how do we do things that actually move the needle? And so that's where we started going deeper into, technology and marketing and CRM. And so fast forward, I'm looking at my wall at the SaaSPRENEUR Awards. I think this will be my fourth year in a row coming up at a SaaSPRENEUR Award. And all that to say, not as a prideful moment for myself, but that's when we really got in the game of how we can solve problems for our clients with a great tech stack and great design and strategy. So now we've been rebuilding the company in an exciting way of offering kind of a technology first approach where design still supports that. We get results, but enjoying life a lot more in this new world of not just being a traditional digital agency owner and being able to provide my clients the solution. So that's kind of on the business front. And then like Paulson mentioned, in the last few years, I've been doing endurance races. I'm actually just about to go up to Leadville, Colorado and do the 50 miler in the mountains next week. And just got back from helping video Western States, which is one of the largest 100-mile ultramarathons in the world in California. So I guess I get my kicks when I'm not hanging out with my family or doing this business stuff, doing really long trail runs and trying not to die. Genie Rocket itself, it kind of birthed out of, using Highlevel, like putting our own name on it. And part of our approach and strategy with Genie Rocket, is really being a strategy-led company first. So we've kind of moved from just trying to sell software only and really saying, hey, we're going to start with a conversation with a whiteboard. And I mean, it's beautiful because all roads can lead back to the software. So I've got large clients that we've built large websites on, and it's almost been kind of oh, by the way, we're going to put you on a tool that's going to manage it all. So it's almost been kind of this like invisible back-end system that we just kind of, use as an, oh, by the way. And then over the past few years, being able to stack that up and having a large portfolio of clients that stay on the tool, whether or not they're using me for like the project, they're now embedded in a tool. And that's just been an incredible blessing for, me, my family, for team, allows me to grow without always having to go and chase the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And is my audio better for you? I just want to make sure. Okay, cool.
Perfect. Yeah.
I had my microphone up like this, and I don't know why I even didn't even catch that. Sorry about that. So
Yeah.
for this session, I know we structured a conversation. So for those of you that are watching, give us some comments and tell us what city and state you're coming in from. And when you have someone who's walked the stage for the SaaSPRENEUR Award multiple times. If I were you, I would lean in and pay attention to the nuggets that, Brad's going to share here. So for the episode, we're going to title this Start Smart and How to Launch, Grow, and Win Without the Overwhelm. We're going to talk about three pillars: demystifying automation and growth. We're going to talk about funnels and follow up. We're going to talk about the mindset as well to get started and get going. So let's talk about the first thing, pillar one, starting smart and demystifying automation and growth. Help us understand what that means, Brad.
Yeah. I think, I always like to get things on paper or in a whiteboard. I think it can be very overwhelming sometimes when we come into, the tech stack and there's so much to do and so many things to plug in. So I think demystifying it, like I usually start simple of saying, hey, what are things that we are already using every day in our own business? If it's calendars and forms and even workflows, right? So it's, the fastest way I've gotten people into my system is simple. Just like, hey, here's book time with me. Send them a link, grab time. And so I think a lot of us think about like, hey, what's the perfect ad and funnel and follow up and hook and all these things, which are important on different part of the sales journey. But I think demystifying it could be something just as simple as, hey, let's make it easy for people to have a conversation with us through just sharing a calendar link. And so just trying to keep it really simple. And again, not always starting on a screen. I think for me personally, starting on a whiteboard or on a piece of paper and just kind of mapping out, what are the things that we're already doing and how can we do them a little bit better?
I love that. So I know in our notes we talked about how to build simple systems that actually work, what tools to use first instead of high level common startup mistakes and how to avoid them, and also, just kind of establishing the concept that you don't need to be the tech expert to win. Um, Help us understand a couple of things there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were just to start out with three to avoid tech overwhelm, I think something as simple as again like calendars and forms and workflows. And almost everyone has used a calendar system. I like to tell people like, hey, if you can log into Google, if you can send out a calendar invite, um, you can you can also create a calendar booking system inside a high level. Like I would say step one, just go in with a clear intention. I get distracted just like all of you. So I think, again, writing out like these are the three things I'm going to get done in the next hour. I'm going to set up a calendar. I'm going to set up a form to collect lead information. And maybe I'm going to create a simple workflow when someone does fill out a form or book a calendar invite. Just maybe do like create a simple tag or create a simple follow-up email.
Got it. So what you're doing is we have hundreds and hundreds of features. You're just focusing on one thing to get the ball moving and get them comfortable and familiar. And is it true that you don't need to be a tech expert to win in high level?
It's true. I mean, look at everyone's phones they have in their hands, technology on their wrist. Like, whether we want to say it or not, I hate when people say I'm not tech savvy. I'm like, actually, you are very tech savvy. You're just lazy. You don't want to take the time to figure out something new. Learning something new can be hard for anyone. I mean, you could give anyone a task if they've never done it. They can come up with a million excuses. But I would say everyone listening and even not listening is tech savvy. Grandmas are on Facebook, right? It's just a matter of are you willing to put in a little bit of effort to learn a system to get a giant result?
I love that. And by the way, Brad, full confession, I was the non-techie guy in the high level leadership, and I would get afraid of building something and something's firing off and triggering off. So yeah, I fully, I'm resonating with your comments that we're in a world today that you could jump in, and high level has came a long way where, there's a lot of fail safes in place, and uh, things that you can put in place that just allows you to avoid mistakes. So I'm with you on this one. Um, what is the next thing on, growing and winning and launching without overwhelm that we want to talk about? Maybe pillar number two, you had mentioned funnels, follow up, and faith, creating a real connection.
Yeah, I would say with funnels, follow up, and faith, I mean, it is still true. Like if I look at all my um, past successes and scalability and growth, a lot of those have been built on relationship, and it's not been built on just a list of features and benefits, right? It's understanding number one, the most important thing to know is you are in business to solve a problem. So the bigger problem you solve, the more money you're going to get paid. So if you can figure out what problem you are actually solving, it's that idea. You guys have all probably heard a million times. It's we sell the hole and not the drill, right? It's like how big of hole do we want in this wall? It doesn't matter what kind of drill we use. Like, can you get the job done? Yes or no? I would say the more that you can understand what problem it is you're solving, and the more confidence you can give that individual of like, hey, I can solve that problem. It doesn't matter that it's called Genie Rocket. It doesn't matter that it's called high level. What matters is you've got the confidence and the skill to know how to solve that problem. So that's a little bit where that, relationship comes in. A funnel does not have to be a 5-step digital landing page system. All a funnel is, it's like a bridge getting someone from point A to point B. So a funnel could be actually a phone call. Meaning you could get someone in on a calendar invite, get them to a call, and the way that you have that conversation with somebody, that's the funnel. It's getting them to believe that you've got the skills and the confidence to solve the problem, and then taking them to a very easy next step with as little friction as possible. Like I said, most of my sales on the tool that we've white labeled as Genie Rocket um, have been a non-sale sale. Like, hey, yep, we're going to solve this problem. Hey, by the way, I need you to sign up for this thing. It's going to help us do all the work. No questions? Cool, let's go. No big deal.
Yeah, I love that. So what's your go-to like method that you really like? Like, do you like lead magnets? What is your go-to funnel where you're like, you know what, this thing has been working for a long time. I don't want to really make much changes to this, at least from a principle standpoint.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say my best converting lead magnet, if you will, still probably is a consultation. Going from I've done like video sales letters that are real simple that go into book an appointment, and then I've just gotten really good at consultative over the phone selling. Um, so that's been working really well, and I think that's kind of been probably 80% of all my success is just having some sort of small video sales letter with a consultation calendar. um, have I done Facebook ads that have generated booked appointments with conversational AI that have been one call closes? Yes. Um, and those are fun to do too, right? Like I've experimented with how to do like a launch within the high level system a Facebook lead form ad that immediately goes to an AI conversation booking calendar that I had 50% of people book directly in the calendar. And then I was able to do one call closes. And that offer was actually pretty interesting. It was a program we launched, and it was kind of a SaaS plus ad launch program. So again, it was less about the tech and more about, hey, we're going to get your ad up and live with speed in 24 hours or less, and help you get results. And we've got limited spots. Here's where you get started. And so that worked like crazy.
I love that. So once I'm sure you've heard this before. You don't have an agency until you get to a world of inbound inquiry, right? That is one of the sales like things that I've learned early with my, previous agencies and mentors that I've had. And the other side of it is the follow-up component. So what are follow-up emails or sequences? Like how many steps do you usually have? Like help us understand what your follow-up system looks like.
Yeah, so if you have a follow-up system, I would recommend at least having 7 specific emails, and I'm going to give those to you right now. So if you're taking notes, you can write these down. Um, Email number 1, and this kind of goes a little bit. I'm sure a lot of you have studied like Russell Brunson and Alex Hormozy, kind of the direct response marketing geniuses, Dan Kennedy, and also Donald Miller. I think all of those guys have some really great storytelling sequences in psychology. So this is kind of a hybrid of those. But number 1 is just a welcome email and delivering value. So it's not trying to direct sale anything. If someone comes into your world and they're downloading something for free or scheduling with you, the first one is just welcome and value. So, hey, Paulson, so happy to have you in the Genie Rocket community. Thrilled to have you here. We wanted to give you some bonus tips. If you are this kind of person solving this kind of problem, here's 3 things you can start doing today to get closer to that result. That's it. There's no pitch. There's no sale. It's just welcome and value. Uh, Number 2 is the origin story. So this is why I do what I do, right? Because people aren't used to not being sold to immediately if they get something from you. So the origin story is important, right? So it's like for me, it's you know, how how I grew up helping solve problems different ways. Like I actually was a magician. So I did illusion shows and birthday parties, and then I actually toured the nation with bands, like these Christian rock bands I used to tour with. And then I know it's kind of crazy. Um, and then I got into like loving design and art. I studied art, and then I learned how to use my art and design to help solve business problems. And then that's where I'm passionate now, is taking the combination of art and science and helping people get results. So telling that origin story just builds that relationship and builds that connection. And it doesn't have to be a wild story. It's just like, who are you and why should I care? Um, so email 3 is pain points and empathy. As you guys know, people move faster away from pain than they do towards pleasure. I see a lot of people making mistakes like this in marketing where they just want to paint like the outcome and the pleasure side, but they don't push into the pain side and what's the
Mm.
cost of not doing this thing. So I would say email 3 is just making sure that you clearly understand your demographics pain points. Hey, we know blank, blank, and blank. Like you're tired, you're stressed, you're burned out, you're out of cash, you've wasted a lot of money on this. You rely on leads to make your business go round. Like, what are those things that you can identify that are pain points and empathizing with them? People love to hear, hey, it's not your fault. Hey, Jim, it's not your fault that you're here. I get that life sucks right now, that you're in this giant hole, and it's not your fault. But just showing those kind of emotions build that relationship. So that's day 3 or email 3. I'll be kind of quick on the rest here. Day 4 is just a quick win tip. Again, we're adding value with something that they can apply right now. It's a quick win. Day 5 is like social proof and testimonials, what other people say about you helping them get a result. Day 6, it's the cost of inaction, right? What if you don't act? And this isn't just on you. It's not about, hey, if you don't hire me, you're going to fail. It's more about, hey, if you don't take action of solving this problem, what is the next 3 months going to look like? Like, is it going to get better or worse? So you kind of have like that coach mindset of having them play out in their head what that looks like. And then the last one I would say, email 7, is a direct offer with some urgency, right? It's, hey, Jane, I've shown you these things. I've given you some tips. You know who I am. If it's not a fit, that's fine. But if you're finally ready to solve this problem, like let's make this happen. And as a matter of fact, if you want to do something this week, I'm gonna do this special thing for you. What's stopping you? Right? So don't be afraid to be very direct. I think you guys have probably all heard too, the biggest problem in sales is we don't ask for the sale. So don't be afraid on that last one to ask for the sale. And these, if you think about the psychology of these, they build trust first and then they offer a solution. So don't try to microwave this thing, right? Don't be like sell, 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 sell. Um, build trust, build that relationship, and then the platform will open for you to offer your solution.
I love that. Hopefully you guys are getting a lot of nuggets out of it. So if you're watching this live, put down out of the seven components what resonated with you the most. I would love to just kind of go back to our socials and see how you guys are all interacting. So, Brad, what about brand loyalty? What are some things that you can add from like your personal side? What are the values you can add to create brand loyalty?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm assembling a team now, and we're actually getting really deep into branding. So we have a process called brand core, and I would say more than just what you sell, you've got to really think about why you sell it. And I would say deeper than that, it's what are the values of your brand? Why should people buy from you? Why should people stick with you? And your brand should have a personality, right? It's like whether it's funny, humorous, like, I mean, think about, Frank Kern. Think about Frank Kern's brands and, Paulson's smiling because when you think of Frank Kern, you can't help but smile, right? He's sarcastic, he's witty, he's silly, but he's also right to the point. Like that's a persona, that's a brand. Um, and just think about some of the companies that you've bought from, like they all have a way that they make you feel. And so the question you need to ask yourself is, how does your brand make other people feel? If they were to say your company name, is there anything or is it all transactional? Because if you can come up with a brand personality that's authentic, people will connect with you. And that's why, like, I would say, something Seth Godin says all the time, it's about, your tribe. It's okay that you're not for everybody, but the people that you are for are going to be your diehard loyal fans. And that's where you get that retention, that growth. That's why people have lines around the corner waiting for products and services. And other people are like, I've never even heard of this thing. What is it? Right? Like, you don't need the whole world to know about you. You just need to know the right people and create a brand that is for those people. And they can also say, this brand is for me.
I love that. In I was gonna ask you how you would define brand, and you already addressed it, which is like the emotion, from what I understand, and I'm not a brand expert, it's the emotion you create when they think of you, right? Even before a purchase happens, even before something happens. So like when I think of, certain brands, I think of certain activities, like Nike being an example, right? A great brand. I want to go to the gym when I think of shoes. So it's like there's like this emotion that you create, and it's how do we do that in the world of marketing and SaaS and entrepreneurship? Like, do you have any starting points that you would recommend?
Yeah, great question. And a common misconception too is, hey Brad or hey Paulson, like I'm really small. I don't need to have a brand personality. But the truth is you do. It's really important. And so I would think about, one of my favorite frameworks is, Donald Miller's story brand. And that's a really great way. If you can chat GPT or Google that, it's called SB7. It's like the story brand framework, but it's positioning you as the guide and your dream customer as the hero. And I think that's a great exercise where you really understand who are we actually helping and what is the real problem they're facing internally, externally, um, like psychologically. What are the things that they're facing, and how do we show empathy to them? And I think once you start to get kind of those emotional, touchy-feely things out of your head and onto paper on a whiteboard, it really starts to paint a beautiful picture of who you need to become, right? To serve these people. It might not even be who you are now. It's like, hey, we have to become a brand like this to really meet these people where they're at. And then the second thing I would say, I use this all the time in client meetings, and this might be a secret weapon for you guys. It's the brand archetype. So you can Google that, and there's all of these brand archetypes. There's the sage, the hero, the explorer, the jester, the everyman, and it gives you examples of the kinds of brands that fit within one of those archetypes. And it becomes such a great exercise when you figure out, like, hey, I'm actually the rebel or I'm the jester. And we think about Old Spice. What does Old Spice sell?
Yeah, it's an emotion that they sell, but it's a persona that I'm on this vacation and I'm having a great time, and like I think of all the commercials they have with the horses where somebody's sitting on top of a horse walking on a beach, and it's just like, it's at the end of the day, it's deodorant and toiletry. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly. So we think about like the razor company and the deodorant company, like how commoditized and boring. And if they didn't adopt brand, they probably wouldn't be around right now. Like Old Spice, think about all the new competitors that have come out recently. They wouldn't have a spot in the have any market share, but they adopted a jester archetype, and everything they do is hilarious, right? And same with Dollar Shave Club. I mean, how many times have we mentioned that in a conversation? Be like, oh, the Dollar Shave Club commercial, like that's been talked about for like a decade now. It's a
Yeah.
razor. But again, they adopted a brand and they said, hey, we want to be like funny and witty and be unashamed about that. So I think that's a great exercise for you guys to do. I would say so the SB7 framework from Donald Miller, just like story brand, kind of write those out, and then looking up brand archetype. And don't worry about who you are now. Really answer that question of who do we need to become to serve our clients at the highest level.
I love that. So with the second pillar we're talking about is, the funnels, the follow-up, the faith, and creating real connection. Can you talk about faith a little bit? I know we didn't share a lot of notes. What's your perception of faith in when it comes to marketing and, sales? Like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I never try to use that as a selling pillar, right? Like try to leverage like, the fact that I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I'm unashamed about it, but I never try to use that as a like, hey, you should hire me because I'm a Christian, right? Or I'm a believer. Um, but I try to lead in that with authenticity. So that kind of comes part of the persona of, hey, I can't guarantee you these results. Marketing is just an experiment. But what I can guarantee you is, part of who I am and my faith is that I'm going to do all the things I say I'm going to do, and we're going to walk through this process together. And we're going to see if there's a fit. So
Yeah.
I've learned early on not to, overpromise and sell crazy results, but really sell the relationship and the process we're going to take.
And I would imagine, like in your email sequences, as part of your origin story, you do sprinkle in some of the things you stand for. Maybe you're not a believer or you're watching and you believe in, whatever it is, but like maybe you sprinkle in certain things you stand for. Is that a fair thing to do?
I think so. Yeah, because again, here's the deal, guys. You are not for everybody. This isn't Mary Kay. I've been to so many networking meetings and like, who's your dream customer? Anyone with skin that can fog a mirror. It's like, all right, so you don't have a dream customer. Um, uh, think about this, guys. If you are for everybody, um, that's a big like that's going to take so much relational equity to try to make everyone happy and fill the tank for everybody. But if you are building a brand and a business that has some sort of relational equity there, meaning maybe you're on coaching calls, you're doing consultations, something, you want to work with people that have shared values as you and that you actually enjoy working with. I'll say my favorite customers, because I do some like fractional CMO work for a few companies, we have shared values. Like I work for one of the largest faith-based logistics companies, and like they all their executives pray before every meeting, and they are bold in their faith. And if I was not bold in my faith, I wouldn't be working with them, right? So I think it's that law of attraction. When you are very clear about what you believe and who you are, you will repel some people, and you have to be okay with that. But knowing the people you're going to attract, guys, ultimately, those are the people you want to work with, anyways, and you're going to enjoy it and have more fulfillment overall.
I love it. So the takeaway that I'm seeing here from what you've shared on the second pillar is building trust before pitching. Now, this makes me think of sales cycle timing. This makes me think of the relationship that's, kind of cold to warm to hot. Like, help me understand if this is the right way to think about it. How much trust should I be building before I can actually say, all right, let's do business together? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I would say the size, or the price of what you're selling will dictate the time of relationship to build. Um, and if you guys are going for high ticket items, one of my favorite things, and this has worked consistently, is doing like a half day or full day, like blueprint strategy day. I actually went and spent an entire day with these founders that was paid for. And all we did is map out the problem, learn about their dream customers, kind of go through all the strategy. And then it turned into an incredible relationship, a big project. The technology was part of that stack. But if I wouldn't have spent that full day with them, they would not have had the trust, the rapport, and my offer, and you guys can steal this, I stole it from someone else, was, hey, if you don't want to do any other business with me after this, like that's fine. You just pay for this full day or half day. But if we decide to move forward together, we're going to take this investment and put it towards the project. And so that just kind of greases the wheels on like, you know,
Mm,
hey, Brad, you've already spent the entire day with us. Like, why would we go with someone else? Like, we've already started the work.
yeah.
um, and then I would say, for some of the one call closes, like lower value, if you're just doing like low ticket SaaS, high volume, um, I still think having, 30, 45-minute quick conversations over the phone. Again, I've done one call closes from Facebook leads. They don't know me from Adam. Hop on a call, and my job is to, in 30 to 45 minutes, build trust and get a credit card. And I've done that too.
Makes total sense and reminds me of when I had my dental agency back in 2015 onwards. This was a different world of dental marketing. I would fly into the dentist location, spend a half day with them, strategizing and collecting, testimonial videos, overviews of procedures. I would bring in like a photographer and a videographer that's local there. We'll do a bunch of pictures and all kinds of stuff. Within that first 5 hours, I would have so much content built out, and then on top of that, strategize and get familiarized with the client. Even if they walk away from me that day, they're walking away with a lot of assets for their business across the board. And then we take the content, run ads with it. We take the content, redo their websites or SEO, or, back when socials was not a thing, we just had Google, you know. This that reminds me of, this kind of a similar model. So Brad, the third pillar that I think we wanted to talk about was the mindset to start and keep going. Like this to me is like a psychological battle when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I don't know about you, but I believe that building a marketing agency is one of the strongest personal development journey you can go on. It is going to test you in all kinds of places. And do you feel that way?
Oh yeah. So I've been in this game again since 2011, and I've had partners, I've bought out partners, I've had a big team, I've gone at it myself, and absolutely, I would say mindset 100%. Like the folks that are going to win are the ones that can stay persistent. And I actually got a text. I think it was one of Dean Graciosi's messages lately that really stuck with me. And he said, um, "Be patient with results, but impatient on action." And I think sometimes we get that confused. We just want, like, man, if this doesn't work, if I don't get this number in this amount of time, like, I'm out. It's like, I understand that if literally you can't, make payments and you have to close down shop, but I think the idea should be, let's get so radically focused on action. And if we believe that we're taking the right action and we're climbing the right mountain, that the results will come. Um, but yes, having good like coaching, mentorship, reading the right books, staying plugged in, it is hard to go at it on your own. It is a tough game. And I relate that a lot to ultra marathons, right? Like I'm out there for, I think my longest one was 19 hours straight. I ran
Oh my
66
gosh.
miles on a trail, um, overnight, and you just have to stay in the game. And the whole idea is just one foot in front of another. Like you're just going steady. It's not a speed race. It's about just endurance. And I think that's the life of the entrepreneur. It's like you've got to be built tough and endure the storms because the storms are coming. It's not easy, um, but I would say it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, we were just in Sydney a couple of weeks ago in Australia, and myself and a couple of team members before our own SaaSPRENEUR event, we decided to go run. And man, it was so difficult to do a 10K. And I was like, how is Brad doing ultra marathons? It's incredible because the mental fortitude that it takes just to stay in the present moment, it's quite a bit. And it's similar to an agency, right? Like it takes a lot every single day to show up while, your partner's asking, "Hey, when are we going to break through all this debt, When are we going to break through, the scaling that we talked about?" Like, these are battles that I've had personally. So fear, overthinking, and procrastination. I feel like those are like the three things typically most entrepreneurs start off with. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what one of the biggest advantages that I've had and that you guys can have too is just being quick on action. Like I take ideas to action stupidly fast, and they don't all work. But I think if you overbake things too long, you miss out on so many opportunities. So when you get inspired, like maybe it's something on this podcast, maybe another podcast, maybe it's something, you're watching Alex Hormozy videos, and you just have that idea, don't be afraid to go build it. I mean, right before this podcast, like I've been reworking the Genie Rocket site, and like I put up a whole new section of, hey, instead of just start free trial, I'm going to now do schedule a demo page, and I'm going to have this funnel with the next step of being, hey, now you've scheduled a demo, go ahead and jump into a trial. And so instead of me just writing that down, I actually built it and launched it all just this morning. Um, and knowing, hey, this may or may not work, but it's done and I can measure it. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to launch. People would rather, and I think this is from maybe a pastor, I think Craig Rochelle, Life Church. He says people would rather follow a leader who's always real than always right. And I think the same with digital marketing, and even with copy. It's better to have something just that 80% done than 100% never launched. Just an idea in a notebook.
I love that. I think Greg Rochelle had several marriage stuff, if I'm not mistaken. He had a lot of conferences and stuff like is he in Oklahoma or Dallas or something?
Oklahoma. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, great guy to follow. Um, so starting a business for those that are watching and maybe in the chat, put one down or just say you're starting out. If you are currently in your 9 to 5 and you're trying to make that jump and make an airplane on the way down, right? That's the most difficult jump in my opinion. So, Brett, is starting a business similar to ultra running? Like, what is that? How do you compare like a sport to business?
Yeah, I would say so. And I've been hearing a lot of this lately from a couple of different sources about the difference between motivation and discipline. And I think number one is you have to have motivation before discipline. You can say, like, okay, here's the things I'm going to do, like after work, at home, every night. And I'm just going to crank these out. You will burn out so fast. So it's important to have that motivation first, and then the discipline will come. So meaning if it's, hey, my goal is to get, 5K a month or 10K a month of recurring monthly revenue, and just think about, how is that going to change your world? What would your life look like when you hit that number? And it's that idea of visualization, like write that number down. I used to have a check I taped above a treadmill. So every time I was on my treadmill, I had this big number written on a check right above me. And I would just visualize, be like, man, what would that feel like if I ever got to this number? Or putting together in like Google Slides just pictures of here's why I'm working so hard, because you will work hard and you will burn out. Just like an ultra marathons. I mean, imagine being I paced my cousin on a 100 mile, or a pacer goes um, with that runner usually half the race. So I was 54 miles through the night, no sleep, had to be right next to him. And it didn't matter how I was feeling. I had to make sure, like, hey, are you drinking? Are you eating? Are you awake? Are you okay? And but you have to have that vision, like for him, and it could be as dumb as I've got to get that belt buckle at the finish line, so I'm not stopping. So what does that finish line look like? Um, and then don't be afraid to put things out. If it's a car, if it's a house, if it's a dollar amount, what is it that you're fighting for? And guys, when I was first starting, I had a wife, same wife. Have my wife, my
My
uh,
That's funny. I don't know
my
if you've seen I don't know if you've seen those TikToks where you randomly prank your partner and say, "Hey, this is my current wife. I just want to introduce," and they flip out because they're like, "What do you mean current wife?"
That's hilarious. That's an easy language trap to fall into by accident. But I would say going back to your point, Paulson, if you're in a 9 to 5 and you're looking to break free from it, I mean, that's exactly what I did. I had full-time job, um, while at home with a family, like newborn son who's now 16 and driving. Um,
Wow.
but I started it with, baby at home, small apartment, wife, full-time job, 100% on my shoulders. And it wasn't easy, guys. Like I had to stay up till 2 or 3 every morning, you know, doing the work, getting the clients, doing the work, um, growing the thing. And it's the work that it takes. There's no shortcuts. I think luckily you guys have a platform like this. I remember back in the day, Paulson, oh man, I had Zapier to like all these different tools, and it was such a headache, like, app
Yeah.
for invoicing and websites and like just all the things. And after
Yeah.
I've been through that war, that's why I convince my clients. I'm like, look, guys, I'm doing you a favor. Don't fight me on this. Just trust me on this.
Yeah, I mean, even with my old agencies, I mean, I had way before high level days, we would Zap, Active Campaign to slide broadcast to call rail to click funnels to type jot form and green, what is it called? Grasshopper.
Oh yeah.
There's so many different tools you're just like duct taping together, and we're in a different world. I think the new marketers that start off today, sometimes I'm just like jealous because I'm just like, dude, you have no idea how much
No
work it
idea.
took to launch a client. It took us 10 days, legitimately working 4 or 5 days, I mean hours a day just on one client. And it was so much. And you couldn't find tech people. You couldn't find certified admins back then. You couldn't trust somebody because you're like everybody was like in this competitive world to beat each other out. But yeah, came a long way. But along with that kind of work, Brad, perfection is kind of a trap, right? So
Mm,
momentum beats perfection, in my opinion, and clarity comes through action. So,
mm.
how do we avoid that perfection trap?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I would just say, how bad do you want results? How bad do you want to win? I mean, I think, I work with designers. I came from the world of being just a designer, so I understand what it's like to be a perfectionist and wanting things perfect. But, I would say if everything has to be perfect, to your point, Paulson, like we're killing the momentum. I can't tell you how many times, just from personal experience, this isn't a prideful thing, but I've worked with coaches or had ideas that's been on a whiteboard, and that same day I implemented, and even that same day I got results. Like I remember once my coach drew something up on a whiteboard of like, "Hey, why don't you try it this way instead of that way?" And I was like, "Cool, I've got a call in 30 minutes. I'm going to try it." And I closed her on the call with that same approach. Um, but if I had the perfectionist mindset to say, "You know what? I need to think about this. I need to sleep on it. I need to try a couple iterations. I need to ask some other people." I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I and last thing on that too, I would say, and this is what Russell Brunson used to always say is let the people vote with their wallets. Like, get it out to market. Like, how many books did Seth Godin fail on before he got winners out
Yeah.
there? Like, ship it, get it to market, test it, optimize it.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning stages of even high level, I'm pretty sure we spend like less than $20 on Fiverr to get a logo done, and we were out. We didn't even have a funnel set up when Robin and Sean and Maroon, those guys went to Rob Bailey's mastermind, and Maroon's in the back manually transacting and launching sub accounts. Literally, like nothing was set up. I mean, so. It's a clear indication that perfection is not where you need to be to launch, right? Eventually, over like now, after what, 5, 6 years, we're now looking at branding, honestly. Now we're looking at hiring people and figuring out, okay, what are the options? Does it make sense for us to stand for something? Do we go into a world of dream client and just, antagonizing everyone around it. So we just focus all in on that one avatar. Like these are conversations that are happening now after so many years.
Yeah.
But to your point, and you're someone with design and branding background, perfection is often a trap.
Yeah. Yeah. The best line I've always heard is perfection is the enemy of progress. So it's like, what do you
Absolutely.
want? What do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want an award for people to pat you on the back, or do you want to move the needle? Which one?
Yeah. So the takeaway I'm getting out of this third pillar we're talking about when it comes to mindset and getting going is it's not the tools, it's the belief, right? If you want to create consistent results, it has nothing to do with the tools. High level, any other platform you ever use, it's just a toolbox at Home Depot, right? But you're building a house, and for that house, you have to have a certain belief and a certain mindset. Am I thinking about that the right way, Brad?
Yeah, that's a great way to frame it. Because again, people don't care what brand of drill you use. You're like, guys, can I please just get this hole in the wall? I think sometimes we care so much and we're so in love with the tool and all the things it can do that we can like make people's eyes glaze over and we end up losing the sale because and this, oh, and this, oh, and they just released this, oh, and you can also do this. And they're thinking like, but how does that help me? Like, what does that mean? So again, if you can really, this is like the $1 million idea here. Think again about you are the guide and they are the hero. What problem are they solving? And in as little words as possible, can you articulate the problem, give them confidence you can solve it? They don't need to know how. Be like, Jake, I got you. I know exactly what we need to do. Here's like step one, two, three. There's some tech stuff we're gonna do in the back end. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. Let's go.
So, guys and gals, we talked about three pillars when it comes to starting a business in this world of high level without overwhelm. First thing we talked about is demystifying the whole automation and growth. Like, just get into one specific component of the platform, simplify the experience. The second thing we talked about is the funnels, the follow-up systems, making the human connection, building trust before pitching. The third thing we talked about is not creating biases towards the tools. It's the belief of what you're bringing to the table. Brad, you are someone that walked on the SaaSPRENEUR award stage more than three or four times from what I know.
Mhm.
If I'm watching this and I'm like, I just want to walk on there one time, it doesn't even have to be four times. What would you say to those folks to help them avoid those startup mistakes? What is your formula that got you through those stages almost every single year? Like, what is the secret?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I would say is we found one group, so a niche that needed a problem solved, and we were able to go grow quickly in that niche. So if you can find a core group of people and you can articulate the problem very clearly, do not be everything to everyone with a list of features and benefits. Right? Figure out who can you serve the most. And I'd say a shortcut there is who do you already have influence with? Who do you feel like you've got rapport, you've got influence, you're already in groups with? And how do you position high level as the tool that even if it can solve one problem? Guys, me and Paulson spent hundreds of dollars for one tool to solve one problem usually, right? Like with all the things that we had
Yeah.
duct taped together, it's not crazy. People will be, I think the fear might be, gosh, I can't charge X amount and only give them 3% of this tool. They don't care. You could say, hey, I know that you guys are so busy, you end up missing a lot of calls and that costs you a lot of money, right? Yep. Cool. What if we could make it where you don't miss any calls? We actually have either AI answering those calls and getting them into a workflow, or they automatically get a text saying that you're going to call them right back. Do you think that would help you save some cash? That few $100s you might be charging them for that could make them a few $1,000s. So don't worry about packaging up every single feature. Um, just keep it really simple and try to find a niche you can scale into.
I love it. Any final thoughts as we close out this session together? It's been amazing.
Oh, thanks, man. No, I appreciate you letting me share and ramble on. I would just say, these are great questions. Just remember to stay in the game. and really figure out, I think that that brand side is important. And again, brand is not a logo, it's just how you make people feel. Like, who do your clients need you to be? Don't be afraid of embracing a personality and just going like deep in on a niche. Like, who do you love to serve and what problem can you solve for them? And it doesn't have to check the box on every single feature of the platform.
I love it. And the last thing I will ask you is for the folks that are watching from the fence and they haven't jumped into the high level family, what would you say to them? Because it may feel like high level is this big, complicated, big mountain, and a lot of people are talking about it, but it's just like, how do they make that jump into getting on with high level? Like, you know,
Yeah, I would say, before high level, I will say, like I mentioned earlier, I would have to chase every single project every single month to pay a really big payroll. And if you embrace it, you'll be able to figure out how to use it for your business and creating that recurring revenue, what it can do to your personal life, your family. Um, it's it can change your world. And if that's not enough for you, we talk about motivation and discipline, like that should be your motivation, and then you will find the discipline to spend the time to figure it out. But I would say jump in. Both Paulson and I I used to spend thousands of dollars a month on all the different tools to wrangle together. And you guys don't know what you don't know. Like, once you're in here and you can see it, I think you will be inspired by what it's possible of. And it's just like a bunch of Lego bricks. Like, you can build whatever the heck you want, and don't expect to have someone come alongside you and tell you exactly what to build. I would just know, one, you need to just jump in and do it, and then you will figure it out, what you need to build. It might take some time, but it is 1,000,000% worth it.
I love it. Brad, thanks for the encouraging words for the folks that are just considering high level. But this has been a great session. I appreciate you taking some time and saying yes to us. For those of you that are watching, if you got some nuggets out of this, please put in the comments, show Brad some love, his team members some love, and so we can do this again at another time. And Brad, I'm hoping and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the conference in Dallas.
I'll be there.
Okay, bye for now. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
We'll see you on the next
Think
episode.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.